May I please go through the door? Do you have a V.I.P. backstage pass? Yes, I do. Can I see it? Here it is. You may enter the gateway.
Well, hello people. My name is the V.I.P. Jeremy Flatt, and I am here to welcome you to the V.I.P. Universe podcast. Now, with everything that you've already seen on my channel, my YouTube channel that is, if you've liked what you've seen so far, then please hit that subscribe button now. Now people, what you're going to see on this podcast is 1. Pro wrestling reviews. 2. Pro wrestling top 10 videos. And 3. Anything that will be able to get me a live show one day at any pro wrestling fan fest. Now people, if you've liked what you just heard about what is going to be on this podcast, then please hit that like button. Now people, secondly, what's going to be on this podcast is music reviews, movie reviews, television reviews, video game reviews, and anything, like I said prior, anything else that can get me a live show one day at Comic-Con. Now people, if you've liked what you've heard so far, and you want to see more, and you want to be notified when new stuff is uploaded to my YouTube channel, then please turn that notification button on. Now, people, the third thing that you will see is public dares, live interviews, live stream broadcasts, and live panel discussions,
dance contests.
And once again, the third thing is anything that can get me a live show one day at Live Fest. Now people, if you want to give me ideas for what I could do next out of all these topics, whatever else you people might want to see, then please leave a comment and give us that idea. Now, once again, I am the VIP, and I want to say thank you for being part of, like I said, the V.I.P. Universe Podcast. Well, hello, people. Now, I'm here to give you a proper introduction for my upcoming podcast. Now, what you're going to see on this is several things. One is, of course, pro wrestling reviews. And that can be pro wrestling pay-per-view reviews, pro wrestling YouTube video reviews, pro wrestling television reviews, any pro wrestling review. And the second thing will be pro wrestling top 10 lists. And that is as simple as that one is. Top 10s. And secondly, or thirdly, should I say, will be anything that I can get noticed and get myself a live show at any, it doesn't matter, any pro wrestling fan fest. Now I'm going to give you an example of what I'm going to do with this portion of this podcast. Now I'm not going to go through a whole pay-per-view review, but I'm going to give you a top. Actually, I'm going to give you. It's almost like a top 10 list, but I'm going to give you my Mount Rushmore, which is basically the top 4 greatest of all times. Starting with number 1, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Why? It's simple. Ric Flair is the best, in my opinion. 16-time world champion, multi-time tag champion, multi-time United States champion. I think he may have actually held the television champion once. And he has actually held the WWE Intercontinental Championship, even though it wasn't really his best title reign, but he did hold the Intercontinental title. That is number 1. Number 2, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Why Steve Austin? Because Steve Austin made pro wrestling in the late 90s. I don't really care how Hulk Hogan changed the game when he became a heel. I'm talking about in merchandising sales, ticket revenues, pay-per-view buys. Anytime Stone Cold Steve Austin defended the WWE Championship belt, it was a sellout. Probably more of a sellout than when Hulk Hogan himself held the title. Now, my number 3, The Undertaker. Why The Undertaker? Because The Undertaker, even as a heel, has been the most respected pro wrestler of all times. He even, at one time, was the leader of Wrestler's Court, which is when another pro wrestler would put another pro wrestler on charge backstage. It didn't matter. You said something wrong about a certain person backstage, and they got upset and was like, I never allowed you to do that. They'd be put on Wrestler's Court. And most of the time, and it was always The Undertaker's verdict, and he dealt the punishment. The punishment could be just buy that person a 6-pack of beer. Now, number 4 is tough. I don't like him. Never have. Never will. Even at his death, I never cared for this guy. But without this guy, there is no pro wrestling. And I'm talking about the immortal Hulk Hogan. Enough said. I'm not even going to go in on what makes him part of Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. Why? Just because I don't really care for the guy. Now that you have basically heard what I'm going to do pro wrestling wise, now for the next portion. What am I going to do with this side of the podcast? Okay. Different reviews. Music reviews. That's actually reviewing the songs people do. Then reviewing the music videos that people have made for their songs. And then fan-made music videos for songs. And even people who have created music via YouTube. Like, say, the group Halcyon. Or, Lauren Babick. Or Diamond Dixie. Now that's one I haven't mentioned in a long while. And then movie reviews. Do I even have to go in on what a movie review is? You just review a movie. Now, the third is doing television reviews. That's reviewing television series. That one's as easy as pie as well. Just review, a television series. Whether it's the CW series that is no longer on air, but The Flash. And then, you're going to love this one. Video game walkthrough reviews. Now, what this means is I'm going to review, people have gone and, did walkthroughs where they would film themselves playing any video game, past, present, and future. And they would upload it to YouTube. So, game like Castlevania from the original NES. And of course, like I said, with the wrestling portion, I'm also going to do anything that can get me a live show. That means anything that can get me recognized and get me a live show at any Comic-Con. Now, to give you an example, I'm not going to actually review the whole movie, but I'm going to give you my review of what I think about the original Rocky movie from 1976. The movie that basically made Sylvester Stallone. Now, and everybody knows about this movie, but it's a look at how a basic no-name can go from a no-name up to one of the biggest stars. Now, did Rocky Balboa win his very first fight with Apollo Creed? No, he didn't. It came down to a judge's decision. One for Rocky, one for Apollo, and who the third one would make the winner. And it would be for Apollo Creed. So, like I said, he came up from the streets of Philadelphia to being a household name in one night. Now, for the third portion of what I'm going to do with this podcast, I'm going to do live interviews, live public dares, public live streams, and live panel discussions. And again, like I said, anything that can get me noticed so I can be able one day to do a live show at Live Fest. Now, how do I give an example of this one? Quite simple. I'm going to dare myself to do a 10-second twerk. Okay? Okay. Now, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was a public dare. Was it embarrassing? No. It was just me twerking. But that is basically what I'm going to do, is do live dares. So now, let me recap once again on what I'm going to do. From the top of the list, pro wrestling reviews, pro wrestling top 10s, anything that can get me noticed so I can do a live show at a pro wrestling fan fest. Video game reviews, movie reviews, music reviews, and television reviews. And also, like I said, anything that can get me noticed to be able to do one day a live show at Comic-Con. Now, to continue, live streams, live public dares, live panel discussions, and live interviews. And again, anything that can get me noticed to be able one day to do a live show at Live Fest. So this is basically what I'm going to do with this podcast. Now I want to say thank you for listening, and thank you for letting me give this introduction of what I'm going to do. Now I can guarantee you what the first actual episode for this podcast is going to be. I'm going to do a video game walkthrough review. Now I'm not going to tell you what game, but I am going to tell you I am going to do a video game walkthrough review as my first actual episode for this podcast. Now, I am the VIP. This is the VIP Universe podcast, and I'll see you then.